if let's go back to Barry Greenspan's question with Cuba. I mean, what does Cuba benefit the United States with? So we're not looking to do any free market anything with them, as far as I know. I mean, I know people go there.
Well, there would be free market engagement if the embargo were lifted.
Well, yeah,
because the embargo exists.
But we don't necessarily, I mean, what does Cuba produce that the United States of America can't produce on its own?
Obviously, there are benefits to engagement, economic engagement with even bad guys who can help them become good guys. There are also benefits to retaining sanctions in any particular situation.
In my opinion, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because, I mean, that's like saying I want to be friends with the Ayatollah in Iran. I mean, you reach your hand out in friendship. What do you think that guy's going to do? He's not going to turn around and say, oh yeah, we're going to give you all the oil rights, so on and so forth. He's going to turn around, he's going to say to Ahmad whatever, Ahmadinejad, you know what, when he turns his back and sticks out his hand again, take it off.
Economic engagement creates mutual trust and it can change the situation.
But only with those who are friendly to begin with. When they're producing, Iran is producing suicide bombers, and now they're trying to engage women in it. I mean, I don't consider that as something I would engage in for economic freedoms or for capitalism.
Hi, I'm sorry I came late, so you may have already answered this, but...
That's okay, I came in late too, so you're excused.
And you may have already done this, it may have gone by me, but you have made an announcement that you're running, correct?
Officially, no.
Oh, okay.
We've made like the little things at some events.
Well, would it be, I mean, I would think it'd be advantageous, considering what's going on right now, particularly on talk radio and how anxious and upset people are, for you to get on the radio and start being public and being against the health care bill, which I know you are.
Yeah. Well, we're working on all of those. We're actually starting the fundraisers at the Union Club in Boston on April 22nd. We're having another one, or two more, I think, later on that month.
What I'm thinking is, if you started now, calling up, you know, Severin and Finner and the rest of them, and
I'm glad you're starting to name names, because we have called some of them.
And you say to them, we are interested in Michelle being elected, and say, we're running against Markey, we want to take a stand.
He openly says, I will give time to anyone who is going to run against an incumbent.
And
We've called
Severin
them.
won't take you?
Well, it's not him. It's somebody earlier in the day. But we've called 5 times and several emails, and they've all gone unanswered.
What about...
And I actually met him face to face.
And what was his reason?
And, well, none.
And what about Finner and I would think he would certainly want you on if you were against it. Because people are dying for someone to, you know, do something. Like people say, who's running against Markey? Who's their alternative? You know, Markey's going to vote for this because he's not afraid. And I said, well, tell me who's running. I just think we may need to be a little more public, a little more quick.
I don't think we've contacted Mr. Finneran yet, but I know we've contacted 96.9 and gotten the big goose egg for a response so far.
Well, go on Howie, go on the rest of them, and just make yourself public, because people are glad to find someone who's willing to say no to someone like Markey.
Yeah. Well, hopefully say no to a whole lot of them, because I think they all should go. Just clean house.
But people need to know that your name's out there.
Yep. Alrighty, so what it'll take is all of you guys also call. And when they get enough phone calls from a bunch of different people, maybe they'll actually take notice and say, oh yeah, 96.9 has just gotten 10, 11, 12 phone calls for Dr. Gerry Dembrowski, who's running against Ed Markey, because I know we've called.
If there's a new announcement, maybe you already did this, but on Red Mass Group, it seems as though if they post it, when people are paying attention to it, the blog that those youngsters in their 20s are running.
Doing all that computer stuff that I haven't figured out yet either. Yeah. So, anybody have any more? What's your name?
Tim.
Tim.
We recognize that Obama's health plan is not necessarily the answer. The current health care industry is not necessarily the answer. What is the answer?
The easy answer is get rid of the 2,500 plus pages, take one sheet of paper, and take the most important ones. Like I would start out with tort reform, allowing insurances to be bought across state lines. I mean, there's two. You don't need all the other garbage. I mean, it's just not necessary. Just put 5 things on a sheet of paper. That's not going to cost you any money. It's not going to destroy 1.6 million jobs. It's not going to cost $2.4 trillion or whatever they're calling for numbers. It's we the people. It's not them, the congressmen. It's we the people. And if we the people stand up, I mean, look at the Tea Parties. The most powerful political movement in the United States right now.
I'll also give you the self-interest of the legislators at hand. One of the biggest things that kept continuing education as a requirement off the books for realtors was the fact that so many legislators were attorneys who had licenses automatically and didn't want to have to take any more courses.
Yeah. Well, those things will have to change, and if they're brought to my attention, because I didn't know that. I mean, I'll bring, if I'm in Congress, I will bring those things up. Okay, so you did get it, so now I don't have to bring it up. The point is, I have yet to see a governor stand up and say, you know what, this is your state. You need to stand up, and I'm going to meet you on, what is it, the State House's stairway, and we're going to protest it all so that everybody in this building knows this is what you want. If I was a governor, that's what I would do. As your congressman, that's what I will do. Whether it's this district or one of the other 19 districts, or if I had to go state to state and do the same thing. This is your state. You say, well, I called you and you've done nothing about it. Because if it's an important issue to all of you, it should be an important issue to me, and I will put a rally on at the State House and say, you know what, this is what the people want, and there they all are. So you need to start doing something. You don't think they're going to listen? I think they'll start listening a little bit, and a little bit more like they're doing now. So that's you guys. You guys have to go and run against those other ones who are running unopposed.
I don't want to monopolize, but I just want to add something about healthcare. I heard a quote a few weeks ago that the current healthcare system that we have is the equivalent of having car insurance, and they pay for our oil changes. And that's really what the problem is, because in those days, you know, you'd go pay for your doctor. And so why can't, we need people to bring forth legislation that undoes the restricted stuff so that you mentioned crossing state lines, but also buying catastrophic health care. I'll be happy to pay for our doctor's appointments. I just want it in case it's cancer and a heart attack and that type of thing. You can't buy it. And we're self-employed, so our health care bill went up from $950 in '03, and the bill just came in this month for $2,005. Wow. And it's more than our mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got the world's greatest Jiffy Lube on the planet, because who was it, the Prime Minister of Canada came here when he had heart problems. So
I called out a small business through the Mass Bar and I asked them, I said, we're paying $25,000 and I can't do this. I said, what do you want to do? And she said, well, if you eliminate this and eliminate this and eliminate all these hospitals, just go to one hospital, we can get down to $1,200 for you. Well, it's not going to work right now. But the point is that they just need to eliminate the restriction of going over, state lines, and then getting rid of the restrictions of not allowing us to buy catastrophic.
Well, and the other thing is you need to get the government out of it, because I think Massachusetts, we have 2 different organizations that regulate health insurance.
And also the number of people that are going into emergency rooms who are not here legally.
Yeah. Well, that's a big one.
Right, and no one wants to say that.
So somebody needs to, well, I'll say it for you. What does illegal mean? Against the law. They need to go. Because 1, it's against the law, 2, they're crushing our economy.
Or if they say they don't get any services.
Yeah. Well, that stuff needs to change. And I'm all for making it. It's just a matter of me getting in there and all of you start telling and making calls to everybody else out there that, you know what, this is what we want. I have no problem voting for it. And trust me, it would not be 5,000 pages long. All you need is one page. They're illegal, they get no services, and they go back home. Thank you very much for your time. And once again, sorry for being late.